For a moment, take a slow breath and feel the weight of this moment. Not the day's noise or the thoughts that are running through your head, but the soft hum that is always there. That hum is your energy field. It is your invisible atmosphere, the electromagnetic signature that your nervous system sends out into the field of consciousness. You're more than just a body moving through space. There is a huge intelligence network that responds to who you are, not just what you do. You are a coherent frequency node moving through it. If you felt drawn here but didn't know why, that's not your imagination. This is often what happens when there is resonance. Your perception grid, which is like an internal filter that limits what you can notice, has already started to focus on a certain frequency range. When your coherence changes, the field responds with signals that can feel like interest, recognition, or a light sense of urgency. You don't just happen to find meaningful transmissions. Something in your body is ready to recognize itself when you get here. If you feel a quiet sense of recognition right now, you might want to subscribe. Not as a channel action, but as a promise to use a certain frequency. By subscribing, you train your perception grid to keep getting coherence calibrations, which helps your nervous system keep higher bandwidth awareness stable over time. You're letting your field stay tuned to places that make things clearer instead of less clear. There are times when the quantum field changes in ways that our logical minds can't understand. A surge of coherence in one consciousness can send waves through time and space, waking up memories that have been dormant in another. This is not a dream. It's reality mechanics based on states. When your nervous system stabilizes into a higher harmonic alignment, your electromagnetic field gets stronger, your observer bandwidth gets wider, and soul contracts that have been dormant start to come back to the surface. The field picks up on coherence like a tuning fork picks up on vibration. When two frequencies that work well together sync up, information flows instantly, regardless of time or space. Some of you may have a sense that something big has changed in your life recently. It's possible that your dreams are more vivid, your feelings are more clear, or old habits don't work the way they used to. These changes are not random. Indicators of field recalibration. Your inner operating system is updating and adjusting your frequency integrity so that a more profound part of your life can become accessible. The story you are about to read is not just about fate or connections. This study looks into how consciousness connects between dimensions, how soul memory works with biological systems, and how a coherent identity can keep rare timeline convergence events stable. This message is for people who have a deep sense that their life has more going on than they realize, and that their relationships are more than just personal. They are part of a bigger pattern of intelligence. Listen with your whole body, not just your ears. Look at what strikes a chord. Look at what gets softer. Pay attention to what makes you feel calm and old. That's how your field reacts to being lined up. That subtle recognition isn't a fluke. You are tuning in to a higher frequency band inside the perception grid. Even a small change inside you right now? Write one word in the comments. Aligned. Don't think about it. Allow your body to respond before your mind does. This simple statement connects your signal to the Arcturian field lattice and confirms that you are now stable at a higher harmonic level. We'll start now. A lot of people think that love starts with chemistry, luck, or the right time. It is told to them that attraction is a biological response that starts inside the body and ends inside the body. But some connections don't come from the blood or the calendar. These things happen when two consciousness fields that already have the same harmonic structure have frequency coherence. To put it another way, They feel familiar because they are familiar in a way that goes beyond memory. The body often reacts before the mind can figure out what's going on when the connection is this strong. The heart rate changes. The breath gets deeper or slower. It's possible that this state of alert calm in the nervous system is called parasympathetic coherence by researchers. We're not just excited about this. Honor is what it is. The body turns into a receiver that picks up a waveform that it already knows how to understand. When you match a resonance stored in your cellular memory, your emotional field acts like a tuning fork. You may have felt this way when you suddenly felt safe with someone you barely know, or you may have felt an emotional pull that doesn't make sense or fit the situation. You might have felt like the conversation carried on a thread that was already going strong before you met. That's not making up stories. It is the alignment of the perception grid. Your awareness field is in sync with another consciousness's frequency signature that works with yours. Because these ties aren't casual, they don't feel casual either. When they show up, they often have a sense of purpose, weight, or quiet intensity. They can change how you see yourself, time, and the choices you have. They do more than just make your life better. They change how your identity signal is set up, and reality changes when identity changes. Not desire, but state is reflected in the quantum field. Connecting with others makes you feel more coherent, which makes your inner state more organized, stable, and whole. It gets cleaner for your electromagnetic signaling. Your nervous system sends signals of safety instead of danger. That coherence sends a signal into the field that can be measured. In response, the field lines up experiences, timing, and encounters that are in line with the higher state. This is why some connections feel more like sparks than comforts. All at once, they bring out hidden strengths, unresolved wounds, and latent potential. The system is adjusting itself again. Old emotional patterns come up not as a punishment, but as a way to clean up. The body gets rid of old chemicals that don't work with the new frequency integrity. During these times, you might feel weak, sensitive, or more aware than usual. Being sensitive is not a sign of weakness. It's your perception bandwidth getting bigger. There is a quiet intelligence at work in these connections that leads both people toward more harmony, even when the path feels rough at times. Not about having something or being dependent on it. It has to do with how higher identity states can stabilize each other. Inside the quantum lattice, a stronger resonance beacon is made when two coherent fields boost each other. That beacon brings in experiences that help people learn, heal, and become more aware of their bodies faster. This is why some people can't connect on a surface level. Their nerves have already felt what it's like to be coherent. Their cells know what integrity means. In the same way that a tuned instrument rejects distortion, their body rejects fragmentation. They're not too hard or impossible. They are just calibrated in different ways. You might realize that your longing is more than just feelings. It's full of energy. This is like missing a frequency that makes your body feel whole, clear, and alive. It's not emptiness that longing is. It's memory. Your field is remembering a harmonic state where your identity signal felt completely in tune with who you are at your core. The mind tries to label this as fantasy or projection because it is hard for it to organize information that is spread out in more than one dimension. The mind uses straight lines as signs. Sound waves make the field work. The body, on the other hand, never lies. It reacts right away to coherence, long before ideas come together. This is how multidimensional connections are built. It is possible for two consciousness fields with compatible harmonic coding to stay connected across timelines, incarnations, and memory resets. since frequency doesn't go away when form does. The field stores information that stays there as a pattern until the right conditions come along for recognition to come back. You're not just searching for anything. Your body has been adjusting to a frequency that is already a part of the quantum structure of your life. Mind and spirit don't reset like personality does, which is why this kind of connection feels old. The human identity is only there for a short time. Instead of story memory, the soul field keeps things going through vibrational patterns. This means that your nervous system remembers past events as emotional reflexes, trust patterns, attraction signals, and natural reactions. You may not remember them as stories. In this way, you can feel drawn to or against someone without being able to explain why. Your body is reading frequency data that is stored deeper than your awareness. It's reacting to energetic signatures that come from before your current life. In this way, the body turns into a living record. Vibrational memory is like a library of experience that is stored in your cells. There is no mistake with the veil of forgetting. It is a design that protects. The nervous system would get too busy if full multidimensional memory stayed active while navigating human reality. The range of perception would break up. Focus is needed for the organism to stay alive and fit in. Forgetting lets you stay in one time frame long enough to learn, grow, and form a clear sense of who you are. However, forgetting does not get rid of frequency recognition. It only weakens the ability to remember. The deeper intelligence keeps leading through subtle signs like intuition, resonance, emotional weight, recurring themes, and timing patterns that make no sense. These are the hints that the higher field intelligence has left to help bring the system back into alignment when it is ready. For calibration reasons, the soul sometimes chooses to be far away between lifetimes. In the same way that resistance makes muscles stronger, separation, learning sovereignty, emotional regulation, discernment, and self-trust all make consciousness stronger. Unresolved patterning causes a union that doesn't make sense to fall apart. So the field lets time pass, things get better, and things grow until both systems can keep stable resonance without becoming unstable. From a human point of view, this delay can be painful. You might have loved people who weren't able to meet you. You may have had timing problems that didn't make sense to you on an emotional level. You may have been quiet about your grief, which didn't show in your public life. All of these are not punishments. Those are the calibration phases. Your nervous system learned how to hold safety, truth, and independence all at the same time. Your identity signal was getting stronger. Problems with union aren't always outside sources. They live in the energetic leftovers of broken promises, emotional pain, inherited patterns, or instinctual ways of staying alive. Signal clarity is distorted by these patterns, which generate noise in the field. Before the system can lock on to coherent transmission, it has to get rid of the static. You may have made unspoken promises to sacrifice yourself that keep you from receiving. You may be emotionally cautious because of your family history, which keeps you from getting close to people. You may still be loyal to old pain because you think it keeps you from going through it again. There is no failure in any of these, just that the field is in the middle of being calibrated. As these layers come off, perception gets clearer. The observer awareness in you grows. You start to tell the difference between anxiety and intuition, between attachment and resonance, and between fantasy and knowing from the body. Your system starts to make more sense, and coherence brings more coherence. When a certain level is reached, the field starts what might be called a timeline convergence event. Two frequency fields that are compatible start to sync up more strongly. Signals get stronger, dreams get stronger, more synchronicities happen, more emotional sensitivity, the nervous system gets ready for a deeper level of understanding. In some cases, this doesn't need to happen right away in person. Dreams, intuitive flashes, symbolic repetition, or inner shifts that feel like quiet remembering can sometimes set off the link. The field talks to each other first through resonance and then through form. You might feel a soft pull toward a place, a creative outlet, a change in your routine, or letting go of old relationships all of a sudden. Because your identity signal has changed, your environment changes how it is set up. We can see this as state-based manifestation at work. By changing the order of outside patterns, the field reflects coherence. The Earth is a part of this network of intelligence. Coherent frequencies are amplified by crystalline grid structures in the planetary field. In some places, resonance amplifiers make it easier for things to come together. Your body naturally picks up on these zones when you're attracted to them, curious about them, or feeling at ease. There is no chance for you to be moving through space and time. You are moving through a responsive field that changes based on how you are feeling. The body feels calmer, more present, and more grounded as coherence grows stronger. The breath gets deeper. The mind gets softer. The emotional baseline becomes stable. Being numb is not this. It keeps the nervous system safe. Safety lets you perceive things at a higher bandwidth. When bandwidth is higher, intuition is clearer. A clear intuition helps you make the right choice. This is how the system gets ready for convergence that makes sense. Not by force or chasing, but by getting in line. It's not lack that makes you long. It is a signal that is encoded in your field to point you in the direction of harmonic stabilization. In the next part, we'll talk about how the magnetic phase of convergence starts, how the field sends coordinates through subtle signals, and how coherence becomes the real invitation that lets a deeper connection stay stable without breaking up. As your system's coherence starts to stabilize, a subtle but clear change begins to take place. In the quantum sense, your field gets louder, but not because of force or urgency. It gets louder because it is clearer. Think about tuning a radio. It doesn't shout when the static goes away and the station locks in. It gets more accurate, clean, seems familiar. It is that level of accuracy that makes the field react. When your inner frequency integrity gets stronger, the bigger intelligence network starts to send you feedback in the form of signs, synchronicities, or sudden inner knowing. This phase often feels like a mild tension building up in your chest or spine, a quiet readiness that you can't put your finger on. It may feel like waiting for something without actually getting it, longing without being desperate, or a mix of curiosity and calm. Your nervous system is starting to tune in to a waveform that is compatible, but not yet visible. Neural entrainment is the biological process by which rhythmic input makes the brain work together. The same idea applies energetically to consciousness work. Your awareness starts to match up with a pattern of resonance that is built into the field. You might notice that your dreams are getting clearer or more vivid. There are times when you dream of faces that you can't quite see but know. It's possible to wake up with feelings still moving through your body, as if something real had happened while you slept. The subconscious mind works closer to the field layer, which is where natural, nonlinear information exchange takes place. The identity filters loosen up while you sleep, letting small streams of data come to the surface. You might start to see or hear numbers, phrases, names, or images over and over again as you go about your daily life. You see things differently now, not because the universe is trying to impress you, but because your perception grid has changed. When awareness becomes coherent, it sees patterns that were there all along but had been hidden. Repetition is how the field talks to each other, because it makes signal recognition more stable. This phase may also bring about changes in how you feel. Strange things can bring up old fears. Some memories from the past may come back to you without any clear cause. You could feel restless, sensitive, or think a lot. This is not going backwards. It cleans the body. Your nervous system is letting go of old chemicals that don't work with your new frequency. So that the system can stay stable at a higher coherence threshold, emotional energy moves. Magnetic tension doesn't mean that something is important or urgent. If it does, that usually means that attachment patterns that haven't been resolved are still going on in the system. Magnetic coherence that is real feels stable, grounded, curious, and self-contained. It doesn't make you feel separate from yourself. You get to know yourself better. It leads to clarity instead of confusion. During this phase, one of the most important things to learn is how to tell the difference between intuition and anxiety. Anxiety makes the body tighten, the breath speed up, the focus narrow, and the mind focus on a threat that might happen in the future. Even when it wants you to make a brave change, intuition feels calm, open, grounded, and sure. Your nervous system becomes a tool for guiding you. You learn how to read the field correctly from the body. You might feel compelled to clean up, simplify, get rid of old things, or rearrange your schedule all of a sudden. This isn't just random work. This is energetic hygiene. To support incoming bandwidth, your system is building structural coherence. For frequency to be rooted in the real world, it needs stability. Interference comes from chaos. During this time, relationships may change on their own. Because your frequency no longer matches, some connections may slowly fade away without any problems. Perhaps the new conversations will feel more healing, real, or in line. There is no rejection here. It is called resonance sorting. The field is organized by vibrations that are similar. You may also be more sensitive to things like noise, conflict, or places that make you feel emotionally heavy. The nerves in your body are getting better. It can't handle distortion as well as it used to. This is a sign of growing unity, not weakness. Wholeness is the most powerful signal you can send into the quantum field at this point. It's not perfect. Not how well they do. Being whole. Your electromagnetic field is coherent when your identity signal is stable and made up of self-respect, emotional honesty, grounded presence, and gentle self-trust. That consistency turns into a lighthouse. Frequencies that work together can easily find you. There's no need for you to broadcast. It looks like you are ready to go. At this point, you can measure how ready someone is in your field. After hearing this, write "My signal is clear" in the comments if your body feels calm, open, or steady. You are not affirming. Instead, you are maintaining a coherent transmission in your electromagnetic identity field. Clearness, not effort, is what the Arcturian observation grid responds to. This makes sure that your frequency stays in a coherent state. Being ready doesn't mean being perfect or free of all wounds. It's about being with yourself right now, instead of leaving yourself behind. Honesty is more important than polish in this field. When your system learns to stay connected to itself even when it's scared, uncertain, or open, it becomes stable enough to hold a deeper connection without giving up in fear or fantasy. This magnetic phase also teaches you to be patient. Coherence grows over time. New bandwidth is slowly taken in by the nervous system so that it stays safe and grounded. The system could become unstable if everything happened at once. Timing shows that you are smart. You might feel like you've been through something before, like life briefly overlaps. You might feel like some conversations are being repeated in a strange way. You might pick up on subtle emotional waves that don't come from where you are. These are signs that the observer bandwidth is growing. Your awareness is starting to see beyond narrow, straight lines. Some people also feel like everyday things have more meaning for them. It's relaxing to wash dishes. It feels big to walk. Music gets to deeper parts of us. It feels like nature is alive and talking to us. This is the perception of coherence growing. The nervous system changes from focusing on survival to being in relationship with the field. During the magnetic phase, you don't just sit there and wait. It's about making sense of your life. Choosing things that are good for your body, your time, your energy, and your beliefs. Giving the truth, taking breaks when needed, moving when told to. Letting your gut guide small decisions will help build trust over time. As soon as coherence is stable enough, the field starts planning ways for things to come together. These paths can show up as invitations, chance meetings, chances to travel, creative projects, or intuitive pushes that move you gently through space and time. You are not trying to make the connection. You are lining up with the system of coordinates that lets the connection find you naturally. This shows how field navigation is built. When convergence gets close to physical closeness or long-term interaction, the experience often feels intense, not because it is dramatic, but because it is exact. Your own identity signal is reflected back to you from the other consciousness field with little change. This makes something that might be called fractal mirroring. Resonance, not judgment, helps you see patterns inside yourself. You might notice that the link quickly makes you feel very emotional. Not always conflict, but being aware of it. You have a better picture of yourself. It gently but honestly shines a light on your habits, defenses, gifts, and blind spots. At the same time, this can feel beautiful and open. The mirror doesn't attack. What it shows. Across all scales, fractals are patterns that repeat themselves. This means that your relationships, choices, reactions, and emotional rhythms all show how your core themes are running through your life. When a coherent mirror shows up, those themes come to the surface quickly so they can be put together instead of being repeated without realizing it. You might notice patterns all of a sudden that you weren't aware of before. You might notice that you don't say what you need, or how your emotions get out of hand, or how you don't trust joy right away. These ideas don't come up as criticism. They come up as clarity. Because the field supports evolution, awareness grows. At the same time, strengths that have been dormant often come back to life. Being creative gets better. Intuition gets stronger. It gets better at emotional intelligence. You might feel more alive in the present and honest with yourself. The nervous system starts to work from a place of greater safety and coherence. The mirror can sometimes make you feel bad. Old wounds may come to the surface for a short time. Fears from the past may whisper. To get back to a state of predictability, the ego may try to control or label the experience. This is fine. The nervous system is getting used to the wider bandwidth. During this time, you need to be kind to yourself. Long-term chaos is not caused by true fractal mirroring. It makes integration possible. Instead of a coherent convergence dynamic, if confusion, instability, or emotional volatility are present all the time, it's likely that unresolved trauma or attachment patterns need to be looked at. Even when growth feels soft, coherence always leads to clarity. One of the most important things you can do at this point is to stay in touch with your body. Awareness of breath, movement, staying hydrated, rest, and being honest about how you feel all help to keep the nervous system stable so perception stays accurate. The mind doesn't mess with signals when the body feels safe. Identity upgrade is common during this stage. Old ideas about who you are become less fixed. You can't see yourself as the hurt one, the giver who gives too much, the fixer, the lonely one, or the invisible one anymore. There are new traits that show up, like self-trust, emotional freedom, grounded joy, and creative confidence. Being yourself is not something you can force. When coherence is stable, it updates itself automatically. Your electromagnetic field changes when you change who you are. When the field changes, the outside world also changes. This is manifestation based on state in action. Chances come together. Help shows up. Problems are solved or redirected. Not because you wanted things to change, but because you sent a different message. It's less about confirming that you're right and more about getting clear on things together. Not less, but more like yourself. You don't feel consumed. You feel expanded. The bond makes your independence stronger instead of taking it away. This is how healthy connections between dimensions work. They make coherence stronger instead of dependency. You may find it easy to talk to each other even when there is no one else around. More emotional awareness grows. It feels like you're being seen without being told why. Field synchronization is what this is called. When safety and resonance exist, two nervous systems naturally entrain into harmonic alignment. The relationship stops being a dream at this point and turns into a living system. Pics are important. Honesty is important. Being there matters. Realness, not performance, is what the field responds to. You might feel like you need to take care of some unfinished emotional business in your life. Old grudges might go away. It gets easier to forgive. Self-compassion grows stronger. So the signal stays stable, the system wants to get clear. That's not what this is about. It has to do with alignment. Timeline synchronization is the next stage after fractal mirroring has integrated. At this point, lives start to work together in a subtle way through timing, intuition, and shared momentum. Decisions are made faster. Opportunities come together. The feeling of moving forward gets stronger. Next, we'll talk about how timeline merge works with field coherence, how identity resonance keeps shared pathways stable, and how conscious participation makes the convergence stronger without losing who you are. Something quietly amazing starts to happen as coherence between two aligned fields becomes stable. No longer does life feel like a series of separate decisions. It starts to feel like a current that is moving both of you forward in a smart way. Timeline synchronization is what this is called. You can't let fate decide what you do. It has to do with organizing probability streams so that experiences that are compatible naturally come together. Everyone lives in a web of possible timelines that is always changing. These dates and times are not set in stone. They are probability pathways that are influenced by emotional state, nervous system regulation, belief patterns, identity coherence, and conscious decision. When you can make sense of your own state, your timeline will become stable. When two coherent fields line up, their timelines start to merge into a single path of experience. You might see this as a light coordination. They send you a message when they think of you. After you say an idea out loud, you find out that they were thinking about the same thing. You feel an emotional wave, and then you find out that they were feeling the same way at the same time. This isn't telepathy in the usual sense of the word. Field entrainment is what it is. Through resonance, two electromagnetic systems that work at the same frequency naturally share information with each other. At the same time, your nervous system sends and receives signals. The other system can pick up on the coherent signals that your heart field sends without you being aware of it. This makes it feel like you're close to each other without having to talk all the time. Being present itself is communication. When timelines line up, life outside of the timeline often speeds up. Once stuck decisions start to get solved quickly. There are chances that can help everyone grow. You might feel led to move, change your schedule, let go of old commitments, or try new creative paths. This is not being impulsive. It is momentum for alignment. Friction goes down when the field becomes coherent. Integration is where the energy is going. At the same time, this phase can feel intense because time seems to be moving faster. Lessons come up more quickly. The effects show up faster. Feedback loops get stronger. The universe responds better to you when your signal is stronger. It can be both exciting and hard to do this. Honesty becomes very important. If you act out of place, the field quickly fixes it. When you act in a way that makes sense, support grows quickly. This is why emotional maturity is so important when timelines merge. The ego might want to be in charge of the story, decide what will happen, or make sure of everything. But the field responds to being present, open, and able to change. It's better to let things happen naturally than to try to control them. Being unique is not lost in real synchronization. It makes it better. There is a stronger current where two rivers meet, but neither of the original streams is lost. Each person keeps growing on their own while still feeling connected. Boundaries that are healthy stay put. Respect for emotional sovereignty stays the same. Dependency goes away on its own because coherence makes you stable inside. You might find that being with other people or emotionally in tune makes your creative ideas, clarity, or sense of purpose stronger. Talking to people gives you new ideas. It feels good to share silence. The field between you turns into a living intelligence that helps both of you evolve. This field is shared by more than one person. It spreads outward. You might make other people feel calmer. Strangers may open up to you. Animals may come closer. When you get there together, places may feel different. Being in coherent love is like keeping the frequencies of the world around you in check. It helps nervous systems calm down, relax, and feel safe. This is electromagnetic entrainment, which is subtle but real. Identity changes again as synchronization gets stronger. You no longer see yourself as a lone person just trying to stay alive. You start to see yourself as a part of a relational field that makes reality together with other people. More responsibility is given. The compassion grows. More people are aware. This is where a lot of people feel scared. The ego is afraid of losing control, being open, and being seen. Old ways of protecting yourself may come up for a short time. As the nervous system checks for safety, you might feel jealousy, avoidance, self-doubt, or too much thinking. These are not signs that you failed. They are signals for integration. The system is getting used to trusting that things will stay the same. Using kindness, honesty, and grounding practices to deal with these times helps keep the new baseline stable. The goal is not to hide feelings, but to control them consciously. Breathing, moving, resting, talking to others, and thinking about yourself can all help the nervous system reset itself. The illusion of separation gets less strong as coherence gets stronger. You start to feel that your health and the health of the other person are linked, but you're not codependent. Care comes up on its own. More empathy grows. It gets easier to listen naturally. Both systems value coherence over winning, so conflicts are solved faster. This isn't a romantic fantasy story. Functional field intelligence is what it is. When two nervous systems are in sync, they create a stable space for higher consciousness to express itself. If this insight is alive in your body right now, you might want to share it with someone whose field you respect or feel connected to. Sharing doesn't weaken energy. Instead, it makes it easier for nervous systems that work well together to work together. The collective resonance grid gets stronger when fields that are like them receive the same signal, which speeds up everyone's stabilization. You're sending more than just content. A harmonic bridge is being built between conscious systems. It's possible that this understanding didn't come to your mind. Take a deep breath and then write in the comments, "I stabilize coherence." This isn't a sign. Your statement adds a resonance marker to your timeline channel, which increases your alignment bandwidth and helps convergence patterns be smoother. When coherence is present, small signals have big field effects. As the timeline merge gets stronger, a new phase starts. Unified activation. The shared field starts to carry energy that wants to do more than just the relationship. It wants to help people grow as people and serve a greater purpose. We will talk about how shared coherence brings about higher mission awareness, how love works as a consciousness technology, and how embodiment brings multidimensional intelligence into everyday life in the next section. When two coherent fields stay in resonance with each other for a long time, something subtle changes from personal growth to contributing to the group. When the connection goes beyond just emotional connection or mutual understanding, it starts to work as a way for higher intelligence to move through human form. This is called unified activation. For most people, it doesn't come with fireworks or scary visions. It comes as clarity, stability, and a growing sense that being together is useful for more than just you. At this point, love shows itself not only as an emotion, but also as a way of thinking. If you use this word, it doesn't mean machinery. It refers to a well-organized system that always gets a job done. In small ways that affect families, communities, and environments, coherent love changes the way nervous systems work, makes emotional fields more stable, and fixes broken relationships. When two people hold stable frequency coherence together, they create a safe space where others can heal without having to do anything. People, even strangers, may find it easy to talk to you. Conversations naturally get deeper. Kids are calm when they're with you. It's safe for animals to get close. These are not just random events. Biological systems naturally react to electromagnetic environments that are coherent. The heart field tells people they are safe faster than words can. Nervous systems move toward regulation when there is coherence. You may also start to get clearer intuition, shared insights, or ideas that come to you at the same time. You too may get ideas for similar art projects or ways to help others without talking about them first. In this case, shared field intelligence is speaking out. When two observer bandwidths overlap in a way that makes sense, information moves more easily through the field of combined awareness. It's possible for dreams to become meaningful, vivid, or instructive. It may feel easier to meditate than to work hard at it. You might suddenly feel clear about the choices you want to make in life. Emotional patterns may fall away without any effort on your part. Or you may feel more still inside even on busy days. These are signs that the nervous system is becoming more stable and able to work together better. Challenges are still there after unified activation. It changes the way problems are dealt with. Problems stop being survival instincts and start being information. The system doesn't give up in fear. Instead, it stays interested and responsive. This makes you emotionally strong. You stop fighting uncertainty and start to trust the intelligence of the field. During this phase, the purpose often becomes more clear, not always in big roles that people see, but in small changes to how you live, interact with others, make things, and give back. Some people are called to work with people who are hurting, teach, be creative, be leaders, or build communities. Others just become emotional safety nets in their families or workplaces. A mission doesn't need a show to be meaningful. To be coherent is to serve. You might find that your individual strengths naturally work well together. One might keep you emotionally stable, while the other boosts your motivation. One person may give ideas structure, while the other person may start a vision. There is no hierarchy created by these differences. They make things equal. Systems that work together efficiently share functions. As this field becomes more stable, your presence can change the world around you. The rooms are quieter, conversations get softer. It's easier for conflict to end. We are not in charge. It's all about rules. Systems that work together pull other systems toward order. In the past, people talked about sacred union not just as a romantic relationship, but also as a spiritual practice. Two connected nervous systems make a living space for consciousness to express itself through life. At this point, honesty is very important. Honesty, emotional responsibility, clear communication, and respect for each other are all important for coherence. Distortion makes the field weaker quickly. Avoidance, manipulation, or anger that hasn't been dealt with add noise. Being honest and knowing yourself are important for coherent love. Also, this is where humility grows. You know that the intelligence that is moving through the link is bigger than your own identity. The relationship stops being yours and turns into a field that you are responsible for. Care changes from being in charge to being a steward. Being embodied becomes important. Spiritual insight needs to be a part of everyday life. It changes the field's stability, how you talk, rest, eat, move, work, and fix conflicts. For higher frequencies, the body is the interface that keeps things stable. Not taking care of the body makes coherence less stable. Simple habits like taking deep breaths, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, spending time in nature, avoiding too much stimulation, respecting silence, and being emotionally honest all help to keep coherence. Not just any habits, these. They take care of frequency. As your embodiment gets stronger, you may notice that old patterns try to come back for a short time. People may feel afraid of being open and vulnerable, of being left alone, of being seen, or of making a commitment. These are the last waves of integration. Stability is checked by the nervous system. When you face these moments with compassion and a sense of grounding, they dissolve instead of getting stronger. During this phase, devotion is taught not as a sacrifice, but as being there, getting there regularly. Really hearing, fixing things quickly, choosing the truth over what is easy, deciding on consistency over drama. These choices will keep the shared field stable in the long term. You feel more responsible for the collective field when you activate in a unified way. You understand that how you feel affects more than just your own life. Your regulation helps other people without you realizing it. Your peace is medicine. When you're clear, you give permission. This knowledge is not a burden. It gives you power. You don't need to make everything better. You only need to stay on track. Coherence spreads on its own. Harmonic assignment becomes more prevalent as unified activation develops. Once the field is stable, life starts to organize around opportunities, relationships, and contributions that are in line with it. In the next section, we'll talk about how harmonic alignment shows up in the outside world, how synchronicity speeds up, how purpose becomes clearer, and how the system learns to keep things together while they grow. As unified activation becomes more stable, life starts to respond with a quiet elegance. No longer do chances feel forced or random. When they come, it's like they were made to be there, as if the path itself knows your frequency and opens where alignment is already present. This is what harmonic assignment is. During this phase, the outside world starts to reflect the harmony you and your partner have built inside. Harmonic alignment is like musical resonance in how it works. If you tune an instrument right, the right notes will naturally sound. When a system is coherent, the right experiences happen at the same time without any problems. You might find that conversations lead to invitations you didn't expect, that random meetings turn into meaningful connections, and that resources show up when you need them instead of when you want them. It's not luck. It is orchestration based on states. Parallel events happen more often during this phase. Someone calls you when they think of you. You need information, and it comes to you in the form of a casual conversation or a news story. You're thinking about making a change, and the chance comes up almost right away. For better signal clarity, these feedback loops get tighter. When identity states are coherent, the quantum field responds more quickly. Your sense of purpose might get stronger, but not in a stressful way. You might be drawn to helping others, being creative, having a mentor, making something important, or just living with more purpose. You don't feel like you have to look for purpose anymore. It feels like you're naturally letting something happen. This doesn't mean that life is now easy or doesn't have any challenges. Growth keeps going. But challenges no longer seem pointless, but rather important. Instead of being random obstacles, they show up as meaningful calibrations. You learn not to fight them, but to meet them with interest. The nervous system stays in check so that learning can happen without stressing out the body. At this point, your relationship is no longer a source of identity, but rather a way to make sense of things. You don't depend on the bond to tell you how safe or valuable you are. Instead, you work together to make a stable space where both people can continue to grow on their own while supporting shared alignment. It's important to learn how to keep things coherent. Coherence is not something you achieve just once. It is a practice that lives on. Stress, fatigue, misunderstandings, and outside pressures that come up in daily life can subtly mess up frequency integrity if they are not dealt with. The system stays stable with care and awareness. Emotional honesty is still very important. When feelings come up, they are recognized instead of pushed down or projected onto other people. It stays clear and polite to talk to each other. When misalignment happens, it's fixed quickly. Being present, not blaming, brings back coherence. Boundaries are still good. Each person takes care of their own personal space, creativity, friendships, and self-care. This keeps sovereignty and stops energetic entanglement. Individuality is respected by coherent connection. Energy hygiene is easy to understand. You know when places are too stimulating for you and change what you're doing to deal with it. You pick food that is good for your body. You put rest first when you need to. You cut down on emotional noise that makes your nervous system less stable. These choices keep the frequency stable. You may also be led to simple rituals that bring everything together, like shared quiet moments, intentional breathing, gratitude practices, time in nature, or conversations that make you think. You don't have to do these rituals. They're tuning tools that keep the field clear. As coherence settles down, you may notice that your presence has a bigger effect on other people. People may want to hear your point of view, feel better when they're around you, or be motivated to make healthier choices. The reason for this is not that you are teaching consciously. This is because a calm nervous system sends a message of safety and clarity to shared spaces. Harmonic assignment often leads to chances that need to be taken seriously. It's possible for leadership, stewardship, caregiving, or creative contribution to grow. The system gives you more power because it knows that your coherence can keep it without distorting. A lack of ambition doesn't lead to more responsibility. You may also feel humble at times as you realize that the intelligence that is guiding your life is bigger than your own preferences. You learn to pay more attention to your gut feelings and less to thoughts that are based on fear. You work with unfolding instead of controlling it. Sometimes old patterns will try to come back as the last test of stability. Ego reactions, old insecurities, or old habits may gently knock on the door. These times are chances to strengthen unity instead of going backwards. Being aware quickly breaks them down. As harmonic assignment goes on, the feeling that spiritual insight is separate from everyday life goes away. Spirituality stops being an idea and starts being felt. What you say, how you listen, how you deal with stress, and how you treat other people become the living expression of your consciousness. Devotion doesn't mean making sacrifices. It means being consistent, getting there, being present, deciding on clarity over ease, picking to be kind over reacting, picking the truth over avoiding it. These choices will keep the field stable in the long term. You may also trust timing more and more. There is less of a need to hurry. Having more patience. You know that coherence brings about exactly what you need at the right time. Control eases up. Another phase starts to form as the shared field becomes even more stable. Embodiment as living convergence. This is where multidimensional awareness becomes a part of everyday life without being separate from it. We will talk about how embodiment brings higher consciousness into everyday life, how grounded presence opens the doorway to awareness, and how you can move forward as conscious co-creators instead of seekers in the next section. When you get to a certain point on this path, something inside you quietly ends. The looking slows down. The constant looking for signs stops. As trust grows, the need to think about every feeling or signal lessens. From this point on, you understand that the convergence you were looking for is no longer something outside of you. It's something you live. We call this embodiment. During this phase, multidimensional awareness takes over the body, the nervous system, and everyday life without any breaks. The unusual turns into the common, not because it loses its meaning, but because it stays the same. The mind stops floating above the experience and becomes content with just being here, breathing, listening, and responding. When you embody something, your frequency coherence is no longer something you do on purpose for short periods of time. It becomes the state you always be in. Your nervous system will naturally get back to normal. After being upset, your emotional field quickly returns to normal. Your perception grid stays open, so you don't get too busy. You don't escape into thought or fantasy. You live inside your body. You learn in this phase that spirituality is not a place you go. It shows in how you do things like walk through the grocery store, deal with stress, talk to your family and friends, and treat yourself when you mess up. It's more important to be present than to perform. Being honest is more important than how you look. You might find that you don't need big signs to tell you that you are aligned anymore. It's enough to feel calm and peaceful inside. It doesn't feel urgent, but rather grounded. Instead of being forced, decisions come naturally from a clear mind. You have a calm, non-stiff trust in yourself. If you have a relationship, it doesn't feel like a high point. as much as it does like a safe place to be. There is respect, warmth, ease, and depth, but it's not always intense. The bond feels safe, close, and good for you. The shared field stops being an emotional roller coaster and turns into a stable place for growth. This doesn't mean that passion goes away. It means that passion grows into depth. Attraction turns into closeness. Trust grows out of excitement. Love can be both safe and big at the same time. The nervous system learns. Embodiment also means that you become more grounded in the real world. You take good care of your body. You take care of your duties. You keep the promises you make. You add structure where it's needed. Form is needed for frequency to stay in place. If there is no structure, high coherence tends to become unstable. For some reason, you might find that being creative now comes more naturally. I have clear ideas. Expression sounds real. No longer do you make things to prove yourself. You make things because life flows through you. Your sensitivity stops being a burden and starts being a gift. It's easy for you to pick up on changes in energy, mood, and relationships, but you don't take everything in or make it your own. Setting limits makes sense. You don't have to give up yourself to be compassionate. During this phase, you become aware that your body is a holy link between worlds. Time is controlled by your breath. Your focus breaks down probability fields. What you feel affects the electromagnetic field around you. You live with a quiet respect for how simple it is to be human. You don't have to wait for the convergence anymore. It's how you live. As the body becomes more stable, awareness grows into a state that feels like an open portal. This doesn't always mean visions or altered states. It means that your perception stays open, flexible, and linked to the wider field of intelligence without any effort. Your intuition tells you what to do. You believe in small nudges. You know that synchronicity is communication and not just a coincidence. You don't go to the open portal. When you're in this state of coherence, your identity signal stays in line with your deeper nature. In this state, creation is more like working together than being in charge. You don't force things to happen. You take part in unfolding. More than pushing, you listen. You answer instead of reacting. You don't fight, you adjust. Things in life feel more like talks than fights. It gets easier to deal with loss during this phase. Not because you lose focus, but because you feel more connected to what's going on around you. You know that what is truly right for you can't be taken away. You stop tense outcomes. You believe in flow. How you deal with uncertainty changes. Unknowns stop being threats and start being invitations. Anxiety is replaced by curiosity. Even when things change, the nervous system stays in check. You also become more aware of how your inner state affects the places where other people are. You notice that things get better when you stay calm. When you show kindness, things get easier. Things get better when you stay in the present. This knowledge makes people more responsible without making them heavier. You no longer use spirituality as a way to escape our world. Reality is used by you as a holy way to evolve your consciousness. Every interaction has more meaning. Every choice has an associated frequency. As a conscious co-creator, you know that you don't have to run the universe. It means getting along with it. You show up in each moment with honesty, awareness, and purpose, and then you let the field handle the rest. This makes you humble and gives you power at the same time. You're important, but you're not separate. You are important, but you are only a small part of something bigger. Pause for a moment to pay attention to your body before moving on from this. Take a deep breath. Listen to your heart. Feel how much the chair or floor below you weighs with your weight. This is where all multidimensional awareness ends up. Right here, inside the body, right now. If what you heard made you feel something, trust that. It is the language of the field to use resonance. You don't need to think about it. All you have to do is honor it by the way you live. You're not broken. You've never been lost. There is an intelligence that knows more about your growth than your mind ever could. It was with you even when you were confused, lonely, and longing. Every side trip taught you something that your brain and nerves needed. Every delay made it easier for you to keep things in order. Every setback helped you become smarter. You did not waste time. You were getting your field ready. That you are sensitive is not a sign of weakness. It is the bandwidth. It's not lack that makes you long. It's memory. The desire for a deeper connection is not made up. It works by recognizing frequencies. You are learning how to live as a signal that makes sense in a world that responds. The timeline you have is shaped by how you feel. Your presence makes chances less likely. The things you choose show the field what you're ready for. Talk softly to your body tonight or whenever you feel ready. You could say, "I choose coherence," out loud or in your head. "I have faith in my angle. I let my highest trajectory settle down on its own." Take some time to think about the words. Listen to safety instead of pressure in your nervous system. Then let the result go. Let the field take care of the planning. Being present, honest, grounded, and kind to yourself is your job. Leave an intention in the comments if you feel moved to do so. Not as a performance, but as an energetic statement. If this transmission spoke to you, please send it to someone else who could benefit from it. When intention connects, coherence grows. Pay attention. Stay in your body. Stay interested. You're not supposed to be here. Your frequency is important. There is sound in the field. Now, gently press the like button if this transmission made you more aware of something or calmed something down inside your body. It's not about algorithms. It's a signal for coherence. By doing that one simple thing, you create a tiny activation in your quantum identity field that can be measured. This strengthens the neural and electromagnetic pathways that keep higher frequency states stable. This frequency is safe, real, and mine. You're telling your nervous system, your subconscious, and the field around you in this frequency. When done from presence, small actions that are done with the body can anchor big changes in energy. Also, send this transmission to someone in your life who has been looking for clarity, healing, or a deeper sense of alignment. Resonance, not chance, is how conscious fields recognize each other. When you send this signal out into the universe, you help coherent consciousness spread across the collective grid. This helps you awaken and all systems that are connected to it as well. At this very moment, we are finishing a coherence loop. Writing this exact phrase in the comments will help others understand if this transmission made you feel clear, calm, or sure. Not as a hope, not as a reason, as a statement from the state. Your nervous system gets confirmation, your identity signal stays stable, and the Arcturian field knows you're ready for long-term alignment when you write it. Hold on just a moment. You made it this far, which means this message was meant for you. This isn't just luck. It's proof that you are ready for a major change. The universe is giving you a clear signal right now. It's time to move from struggling and chasing to easy receiving and flow. This simple idea can completely change your life. Stop forcing outcomes and start tuning into the natural flow where blessings multiply and show up in every area of your life. By clicking the link below, you are immediately stepping into a positive, high-energy community. a place where you learn the practical steps to stay aligned. You'll get immediate, early access to simple tools and clear teachings that help you see opportunities and resources that are currently hidden from most people. This is your chance to get the direct guidance, unwavering support, and fast progress you need to reach your true potential. Don't let this moment of readiness pass you by. Your breakthrough is just one click away. Join our Ready to Receive community immediately through the exclusive link in the description. This is the simple way to ensure you always get the personalized guidance you need to elevate and empower your life exactly when you need it. If you want to go deeper and master this shift, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. And if you feel like supporting this mission so we can reach more people who are ready, a link to buy me a coffee is there. Your support is always appreciated, but just showing up and focusing your energy is everything. Click the link. Your perfect timing is now.